I think Baltimore gets a bad rap, and that mostly is coming from folk who don't know. We have not always done a good job of telling our story.
And
In
that's
fact,
one
we've
of the
done a
things
poor part.
that's
Poor
one of the
job.
things that I'm trying to fix with this channel, because as I said, I'm a transplant. And when I first came to Baltimore, I had no clue. I knew existed. I didn't even know really the sports teams all that much. I knew almost nothing. I knew of Maryland crab cakes. That's it. And I think that outside of Maryland, that is what people mostly know. Working with my franchise, they're out of Texas, and when they're trying to look for things within Maryland, they can't find anything. They have to look in the Baltimore DC area because that's how everything is advertised. Like Maryland, who cares?
We still missed the boat on that one too. You know, Maryland is such a diverse state. We have waterfalls. I don't know if you knew that. We have lakes.
So
Uh, we have a little bit of everything, big city to like rural countryside.
yes, and typically within like half a mile of each other. What I like to
Yes.
do, and again, this is from like a transplant outsider coming in and living here for the past 16 years. I call it America condensed. The only
Yes.
thing we don't have is deserts. We have mountains, we have lakes, we have rivers, we have oceans, we have bays, we have every conceivable type of environment in this tiny state compared to some of
Yes.
the other ones. And yeah, it's America condensed.
Yeah. Absolutely. It really is. And folk don't get it. Who don't live here and don't. I mean, you know, because first off, they listen to the negative propaganda, and yeah, and again, our story has not always been told well. Um,
Neither has America's.
yeah,
Neither has America's. But you know
yeah,
what? That's one of the strengths, is that we can see what was bad, learn from it, and promise that it'll never happen again,
yeah,
or at
yeah.
least try to. I was once asked, again, transplant, why are you asking me? But I was once asked if Maryland was a northern state or a southern state. And my answer, it's both. It is geographically a southern state because we are below the Mason Dixon line, but historically it is a northern state because Maryland did not secede from the Union.
You got- I guess you call it nickname is it's a free state. It's a free state on depending on what you're looking for. I need to find freedom. And
The Freedom State,
while
asterisk terms and conditions may apply.
yes, there's that. So I mean the thesis that Maryland was founded on comes from England and the Catholics who settled in in Maryland, and they came for religious freedoms because in England the Catholics were being persecuted, and therefore its name after Queen Mary, Maryland, and um, it's actually the only state in which it was founded as a fief, if you know what that is. A fief means you go out there and you discover this new land, but you're discovering it for the monarchy, and they own it, but they let you farm it and make money off of it, and you take a piece of whatever you make and you send it back to England. Maryland is the only state in the Union that was founded that way. A lot of people don't know that.
So we
Um,
started the tax. Oh,
so it has a very interesting and very unique history. It's also one of the oldest states
yep.
in the Union, um, and one of the most, how can I put it, early organized states in the Union. Maryland gave up its property to form what is now the capital of the United States, DC. Virginia gave up a piece, but to appease those folk, they had to give it back. And
Right.
so, yeah, and
Because it was
and
going to be New York for a while. It was going to be Philadelphia and a lot of different compromises. And some of us saw Hamilton. And
the theory behind it was that Washington was looking for the most westerly port and the most centered location on the most. So you got to remember, he's not thinking about California and Wyoming and anything west. He's looking at just this string of colonies that's running up and down the East Coast and trying to find a place that's in the middle. And also that it's not already been land grabbed.
right.
Well, the word got out and so that went away. But uh, that was the theory behind it, its location and how DC was supposed to be this star on the map, and why it's not a star anymore. Also, um, but yes, that was the whole theory behind it. It's just and Maryland, being what Maryland was and is, um, was linked to DC, which was a free also, um, you know, what do we call it, district. And Maryland wrapping around and property that was given by Maryland, it only makes sense that they would not have seceded from the Union. That would have been problematic.
Yeah, having to fight on all sides of DC, that makes
Problematic.
things a little, yeah, a little
Yeah,
difficult.
it would have been. That's not to say that they weren't slaves here, because they were.
True.
Um, there are at least documented that I'm aware of, six major plantations in the state of Maryland, primarily, believe it or not, around Baltimore. They kind of circle around Baltimore. So yeah, there was that, and quite a few, even more so on the Eastern Shore.
Right.
So, which is kind of where some of our most important abolitionists come from. Harriet Tubman, Frederick Douglass. So, um, Baltimore's history is really just not told well. Its story is just not told well.
So when you're restoring an old building, an old Confederate building, how does that make you feel?
So I had mixed feelings, but let me tell you this. Um, the entire team, except for the owner, were from minority communities. Uh, well, there was, well, we had two, we had a structural contractor and a structural designer. The designer was an African American. The contractor was Hispanic, who did all the testing of the steel that was in that building, making sure it could carry the new loads that we're going to now be imposing on it by creating these two-story apartment spaces and all. The mechanical, electrical, plumbing engineer is Korean. So I think we thoroughly, thoroughly.
I mean, Michelle Obama said it herself. She was living in a house built by slaves, and saw that as prideful, not because it was built by slaves, but because as terrible as that history was, there's ways to overcome that, to not forget it, but to heal from it.
Case, I would also say, um, they built that house for who they built it for initially, not thinking that they would ever see an African American family living there. So at the end of the day, you can always look at it as though they finally built it for the people who should have been living there.
That is definitely
It took
a,
them a long time to get there.
yep, long.
So,
I still think that as terrible as our history was, the fact that we're able to, and unfortunately we haven't fully been able to move on, and some of that is what we're seeing, kind of the pushback today.